Hey everybody, welcome back to The Stuff of Legend. My name is D'Lo. I have another video for you today. I'm really excited to talk to you guys about this one. We are talking about Batinthesun's Legend of the White Dragon. If you're a Power Rangers fan, this is really big stuff for us, especially if you're an OG Power Rangers fan. If you liked, for instance, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Zeo, Turbo, a lot of the 90s content, a lot of the very early 2000s content. You're going to have a lot of fun with this. If you haven't heard of it, I've talked about it on the channel. Katherine Sutherland joins the fight, and I'm going to explain what Legend of the White Dragon is first, and then I'll get into what this news is, and even better news about it, because it's really starting to pick up steam. I'm going to talk about that in just one second. What's up, guys? But before I do, I wanted to tell you guys, if you want to help me out, please subscribe to the channel and make sure to turn on notifications so you could be alerted right away when I go live next time. That way you guys won't miss a single thing. Next time I go live, you can drop your comments in the chat and we can have that conversation, whether it's your comments or your questions in the live, and it can be part of the video. That way you can be part of the Stuff of Legend as well, because that's what I like. I like having these discussions with you guys, hearing what you have to say, catching your excitement, letting that roll over with mine as well. It'll be a lot of fun, but there's so much to talk about as far as Legend of the White Dragon. I'm going to shift my screen so you can see what I'm looking at over here. Okay, so this is a poster for Legend of the White Dragon. You guys may already be familiar with Batinthesun. I'm going to go ahead and show you guys Batinthesun YouTube. So you're probably already familiar with them. They do a lot of the superpower beatdowns. They have tons and tons of content and tons of videos. Their beatdowns are probably their most famous videos. They've also done the series with Valiant Comics and created their the Valiant Comics TV universe, but from YouTube. So they do all kinds of really awesome things, and they've worked with many of the Power Rangers as well, specifically Jason David Frank. They have a really good relationship with him. They've done the Green Ranger versus Ryu, the White Ranger versus Scorpion, and plenty of others. Now, they do really epic fight scenes, really awesome fan servicey content. But specifically, I wanted to talk to you guys about this news here. So Katherine Sutherland has joined the Legend of the White Dragon. You guys know Katherine Sutherland from Power Rangers. She was the second Pink Ranger in Mighty Morphin. She was the Zeo Pink Ranger, and she was also the first Pink Ranger in Turbo. She was also the Turbo movie Pink Ranger, I believe. So she is, she's an OG. And she hasn't been around on the Power Rangers scene for a little bit, except that whenever you go to a con or a convention, rather, if you don't go to cons very often, you probably know it as a convention. But if you go to like a Comic-Con, for instance, you'll be able to like get her autograph and talk with her, and that sort of stuff is a lot of fun for people like us who grew up on Power Rangers. Batinthesun is not affiliated with Hasbro. Okay, so Hasbro owns Power Rangers, and Batinthesun is an independent YouTube production company that makes really awesome and super legit content, and they've worked directly with Valiant to create the Valiant Universe comic series online. Now, that being said, they're not an affiliate of the Power Rangers, but they have good relations with, for instance, Jason David Frank, Jason Fount, and plenty of these other Power Rangers. The young lady in the middle is actually the daughter of Jason David Frank. That's Jenna Frank. And she was not a Power Ranger, but she is going to be a part of this project. Really cool stuff. You see Johnny Young Bosch. He was a Black Ranger. And Jason Fount, the Time Force Red Ranger. Yoshi Sudarsa, I think if I'm saying his name, forgive me about that. But I believe he was the Blue Ranger in... what was his name? He played Coda, I think it is. I can't remember what the series was for that. Dino Charge or something? I can't remember which one it was. Because that was past the time where I was consistently watching. So I didn't get to see his, but I played him a lot in the video games. And then also Christy Ann as well from, I think that was Ninja Steel, if I'm not mistaken. And then also Ciara Hanna. a lot of these are actual Power Rangers. And then obviously Jason David Frank here in the front, who will play the actual White Ranger. This is going to play out similar to how the Lord Drakkon storyline sort of plays. How there's a dark Green Ranger, there's a good Green Ranger. Not in that same fashion, but how if you take out the Lord Drakkon part and you have the good Green Ranger and he's like, he's the survivor, and then there's all these other Rangers that are the resistance. This is not a Power Rangers affiliated story, but they're playing it exactly like kind of how Rangers would work, using elements similar to like the Morphin Grid, Morphers, the suits, the weapons, that sort of thing, and obviously heavy on the martial arts. And they're kind of playing themselves from the Power Rangers as well. They're probably going to have new names. They're probably going to be like slightly different because obviously they if they're not licensed by Hasbro, they're not going to be able to use those characters specifically. But this is going to be some seriously epic Power Rangers love for fans. So if you're a Power Ranger fan, even though it's unofficial, this is the kind of content we've been waiting for, because it's like it's access to Legends characters. Now, enough of that. I've already kind of explained the gist of what that is. Katherine Sutherland joining this crew is really awesome. I covered this story, I think it's almost 8 months ago or something like that. Like, it was towards the middle end of last year. I covered this story, and then I even donated. You'll see right here, I even donated to get it off the ground. You can see I have an account here because it allows me to do comments. It's linked in the description of this video if you want to check that out. This is Aaron Schwank and his father, who do Batinthesun. They're the directors, producers, creators of Batinthesun in Hollywood. Very, very awesome and legit production company. It's young, it's small. It was born out of YouTube, but man, it's really good content if you haven't seen it, and I'm really excited for this. I would highly recommend to everybody watch the trailer for The Legend of the White Dragon if you haven't already. It's been a bit of time since I've actually covered the news on this, but that's because it had fizzled out. You'll see here it says this project did not meet its funding goal. Your pledge will no longer be collected. This is how it works with Kickstarter, is that you can set it up so that you set a time frame and a goal, and if you meet the goal within the time frame, then the people that pledged to donate get the money taken out of their accounts, and then it actually goes there. But if not enough pledges come in for the goal, then no one's cards get charged because they weren't going to meet the goal anyway. And so it's kind of a safe way for fans to be like, look, I really want this content. I'll put money down on this. But you pledge the money. They hold the card number, the card information, until the possibility they reach that goal. And then if they hit it, then bam, your card gets charged, and then they get to move on. Well, the good news, guys, is that how they set it up from last time to now is 203,000 people, $203,000 were raised out of the 500,000 goal from the last time. But they now have hit their goal. And so it's pretty cool. Like, so this was the old website. This was for the previous one. Obviously, you only get one chance at the thing to get the Kickstarter going. But then you can they started a new one. They just did it again, which is exactly what the fans wanted. It's like, just give yourself more time and a lower pledge, and then up the pledge if you need to. And they were like, yeah, we're just going to do that. And so that's exactly what they did. They dropped it from the 500,000 to the 200,000, then they hit it, then they increased it to 3, and then to 500, but they'd already hit their goal. So people have now funded it, and they say, we did it thanks to you. So this is incredible. We're actually, I highly recommend, watch the trailer. You're going to love what's coming of this. It's really awesome. Unofficial Power Rangers content with the Power Rangers we all know and love. Jason Fount, the Red Time Force Ranger who played Wes. Jason David Frank, who played Tommy Oliver in Mighty Morphin, in Zeo, in Turbo, in Alien, in Dino Thunder, in plenty of others where he's come back and been a part of the franchises, maybe even as a cameo or whatnot. But he's a legend. He's been around the Power Rangers scene since day one. He lives and breathes it. So many others: Ciara Hanna, Christiane, fan favorite characters Yoshi Sudarsa, and Johnny Young Bosch, of course, especially people who are fans of anime are really excited about Johnny Young Bosch coming back into another live action role, because he's done mostly vocal roles for the past, like, what has it been, 15 years, you know, something like that. So you guys are gonna love this. And so they're obviously wicked excited. They made a video just talking about how, I'll make sure my volume's down. I don't know if you guys can hear this. I think I have the trailer audio like super low or something. You guys might be able to hear this one coming through. Maybe not. But basically they're just saying, we did it. We got the money. Now we can start working on the project. And they're really happy about it, obviously. Another really cool thing is that Jason David Frank had been giving, like, the 24 hours left, the 48 hours left, multiple videos that had been made to kind of just communicate with the fans. And he basically just said, like, every day that we're getting, we hit the first check mark, and then we started, you know, reworking the script. We moved on to the next goal, and we started reworking the script, because now we have more money, we can do more things, we can hire more people, the story can be bigger and better. And so the more pledges, the more money they actually receive for the funding, the creation of this project, the more they can do. They can actually start to work towards actually buying the lot they're working on, buying the capital and the resources, the sets, so they don't have to keep tearing down, and they can just buy territory with this stuff. And like, they buy a warehouse, they build different sets with it, and then they can also afford CGI Zord battles, even though it's not really Zords. It'll be giant robot battles, because it's unofficial Power Rangers, right? So they can't use the word Zord or Megazord, perhaps. So that's more or less what they're talking about, but they're all so excited, and it's all of our favorite people. So as far as fan content goes, this is what's up. Like, you're gonna love Batinthesun. There's basically 2 production companies that I'm like totally 100% on board, sold out for, that make Power Rangers content. It's Batinthesun, and it's Crimson Vision Studios with my friend Colin K. Bass, the Blur. You can follow him on Instagram at Colin the Blur. Another great fan content production company that makes epic, absolutely epic Power Rangers content, which you're gonna love. Two or three different shows going on right now on YouTube that you can watch from him, and then also, of course, the Batinthesun content, which most people already know about. But as far as this, I'm thrilled. I'm so excited. And Legend of the White Dragon, I mean, come on, dude, who doesn't want to see this go down? The trailer, if you guys didn't see it, is flipping just bananas. It's so exciting. I don't think I'm playing the audio for you. I'm going to try to keep that down, just because I don't want to get, like, if I get flagged or something like that on YouTube. But you guys, man, tell me who your favorite Power Ranger is. And if they're not already on this cast list, if the pledges get high enough and people request it, these Rangers that have been part of our childhood growing up, they love the Power Rangers. Like, they're grateful for that, for the opportunity they were given. Most of these guys live and breathe it. They go to Comic-Cons all the time. That's usually how they make their money, actually, is they go to Comic-Cons and sign stuff and sign helmets and that sort of thing. But this is the kind of fan content that we're looking at, like really awesome, you know, like high intensity action. They even got the stunt coordinators and fight choreographers from Daredevil on Netflix. So, like, we're talking about really epic fight choreographers on top of the people that did Power Rangers for a living, you know, coming over to help out with these projects. A lot of great stuff is happening over here, and I can't wait to see this. If this is just the trailer, man, am I excited to see the actual production. And they also talked about, if they get enough budget, they'll just set aside the sets so they can continue to make these projects ongoing and continue to build off of this. Because these guys that, like Johnny Young Bosch, Jason David Frank, this is what they want to do. They want to stay in the game. And by the way, this is going to bleed very nicely. That's Ciara Hanna. That's Jason Fount. This is going to bleed extremely well into my next story, which I'll show you guys right now. Really cool stuff. I really love the cast they brought together. Some of my favorite actors from Power Rangers coming together. Still, obviously, so many more that I would love to see be part of this project, that could still be part of this project ongoing if they can get this going. You know, like see Connor McKnight come back from Dino Thunder, or like or you know, like you can get Trent Mercer. That'd be super cool. You know, even if you want to go back to Ninja Storm, obviously, you know, we just had the recent passing of Pua, the Red Ranger, which was a tragedy. You know, it was very sad. And to me, that was actually, Ninja Storm was my favorite. Other than Mighty Morphin, it was my favorite series. And so, I mean, but to see like someone like, for instance, you could get like the Navy or Crimson Ranger. You can get Dustin, the Yellow Ranger. You can get, you know, Tori, the Blue Ranger. Whoever you want, like, put them in the comments. Tell me who your favorite Rangers are. And I'll even drop that comment in the comments here and just say, hey, can you talk to whoever and get them for me? Like, if you guys want to see, you know, like, for instance, Danny, the Black Ranger from Wild Force. I've actually talked with him on Instagram. Really cool guy. He chats with people. So you can, like, you know, you can go and you can reach out to some of your favorite Power Rangers actors and be like, hey, man, you should totally join Jason David Frank over here on this project. They'll totally do it. Like, these guys are actors. They're trying to act. So fund it. Share it. Can't wait to see it. Anyways, let this transition into the next phase of this conversation. And then before the end of this video, I will click over to the live chat to check out what you guys have to say. This is pretty much going to be a shorter video, much more so than usual. But I just wanted to touch on this. And I think I've mentioned this once before as well, because it was brought up in a live chat. But I wanted to actually give it a little bit more attention. Hasbro to end partnership with Toei. What this means for Power Rangers on TV exclusive. So it says, the Illuminerd has recently got word that Hasbro is reportedly not continuing their partnership with Toei, including the use of footage from Super Sentai and from the Power Rangers television universe, or I'm sorry, series. This means, according to our sources, Super Sentai will no longer be a factor in production for Power Rangers. Now, when they say according to our sources, we take this with a grain of salt, right? I mean, it's the Illuminerd. This isn't like it's the Hollywood Reporter. But it also very likely could be true. Hasbro may be pulling away from Toei. And I do think that there's been a lot of other people that are quite reputable that have put this out there as news, as opposed to rumor. I, for one, am going to take this with a grain of salt, but it does not surprise me if it's true. So I'll talk about why I think that is. If you guys have seen Power Rangers Beast Morphers, it's a breath of fresh air. It really is. It does feel like a new Power Rangers that really does a lot to honor the source material. Like, they don't try to deviate very far, but it seems as though Power Rangers Beast Morphers is completely of its own. And when I say that, I mean, like, Toei, I don't know if you guys know much about the Super Sentai. It's a series in Japan that has been making what we know as Power Rangers, but then what the actual, like, Saban's Power Rangers, they take the footage from those and the storylines from those other, from the Sentai, most of them, not all of them, but most of them. They use the footage of the combat, of the villains, and all that stuff, and they recycle that footage and then just reshoot the scenes where the Rangers are not suited up or where they have their masks off. So all of those scenes with the American actors are original, and all the other scenes, including the Megazord battles, are from the Sentai. And this is how they've kind of been producing most of the Power Rangers series, is that the Sentai will start something, the Rangers will follow it. Sentai start something, the Rangers follow it. And they kind of create their own versions of the stories in English, you know, with the mostly either American, New Zealand actors, Australian actors, that sort of thing. But that's kind of how it's worked for so long. And now, if they're going to split from Toei, if that is the case, that means that we're no longer going to be getting the recycled footage from the Sentai. And that also does mean that we would not be beholden to the suits that are being passed from the Sentai to the Rangers. We wouldn't have to follow the same villain arcs. It could all be original. And so I do think that in a way, breaking from this tradition is a bit of a bummer for someone like myself who we're used to this kind of content. It's formulaic, it follows a certain pattern, but it's a good thing. It works out for people. It's a kids show that most of us can still enjoy. It's clean and it's fun, but the martial arts are off the chart. It's super super fun. And the action, the adventure, and the weapons and the story arcs, it's all just fun. And it's quite wholesome television, actually, because it's still a show that deals with morality and good and ethical lessons, which is a good thing. And not a lot of shows do that nowadays, especially kids shows. So in this situation, I think that it could still be a good thing, the separation between Hasbro and Toei, because Beast Morphers felt like a breath of fresh air. The production at Hasbro has been really, really good with season 1. I'm not yet on season 2 of Beast Morphers. I got to get there. But season 1 of Beast Morphers is off the charts. I had my interview with Lana Ramirez. I meant every single word of the praise that I gave for her and for that show. It really is truly wonderful. And my daughter loves it. We watch it together. She's 3. It's fantastic. I do have a lot of hope for Power Rangers. It's one of the few franchises where the fandom is very wholesome, very not toxic at all. The Power Rangers franchise is quite good. One of the least toxic fandoms of all time, and I think that has to do with the way that the stories go, because they're actually teaching ethics and morals and how to work with one another and talk with one another, use your words, de-escalate situations. And that's what the fandom has grown up on. So those are the ethics they hold. And then that's kind of how they treat each other in the comments sections. So I feel like that's one of the good things. And I don't think that Hasbro is going to doesn't necessarily get that from Toei. So a lot of the things I appreciate about Power Rangers, I think, will remain. I think that they will have to fork out more budget because they're not going to be using recycled footage. But someone had brought up, and I think this may have been, I can't remember what the YouTube channel is. I'll have to remember it and put it in the comments. But there was a YouTube channel I was watching that made a comment about this that suggested that if they were to go from the 30 episodes or the 40 episodes or however many episodes they've been doing for Power Rangers per season, there's a lot of episodes they've been cramming in to a single season of Power Rangers, they could chop that back down to either a 22 episode season, or even back down to something like the Netflix models, either 8 or 13 episodes, and then use the budget to make those fewer episodes significantly more high quality. You could put so much more into the graphics, so much more into the effects, the stunts. You could do a whole lot more with less time shooting. And so I personally love that there's billions of episodes of Power Rangers that you can watch, and that every season goes on for days, and that you can, there's a new villain of the day, and that they do take time to make these story arcs for certain characters last, over time and that sort of thing. I like the long seasons that they've been doing, but I can also see how if they need to change it based on not having the recycled footage, they could just make shorter seasons and reallocate the budget to make those shorter seasons work better. So I for one can see how this could be a benefit, especially now that Hasbro has a deal with Netflix. So Hasbro broke a deal with Netflix, and I think they're doing a lot with Transformers and that sort of thing. But Hasbro also, again, owns Power Rangers. So they could start to do, and some people have said that this is not a thing they want. I personally don't see the harm in it as long as it doesn't replace Power Rangers content in live action. But if you were to get an animated series for Power Rangers, I think that could do tremendously well. And you could do any number of different story arcs, including you could do the Lord Draken story arc if you wanted to, the one that they've been doing on Boom Comics, which is amazing. It's super, super awesome. You've got to check that out. If you like reading comics, you're going to like that. The Shattered Grid, it's one of the best story arcs for comics, especially for Power Ranger stories, but definitely just in general, it's great comics. So I like that. But anyways, this article, you can read it for yourself. I mean, there really isn't a lot more to it than I've already said. It's basically just that there is a Rangers movie. The only thing I didn't mention was that there is a Power Rangers movie that is still currently in development over at Paramount. But again, this is per sources. So our sources have confirmed that Hasbro is committed to their upcoming Rangers movie. We don't know who their sources are. That's the problem. And so I don't want to just take what they're saying as gospel or as fact, because we have to accept it with the trust of their unnamed source. And I don't expect them to out their sources, but I do think that this is not beyond the realm of possibility. I would be willing to believe this myself, but that's for everyone to make up their own mind on. Based on the fact that Hasbro has a new deal with Netflix, and their contract with Nickelodeon is about to expire, I do think that there is a strong possibility that this is the case. When there's shifts in business as far as studios, sometimes you find that other affiliations may wish to make such shifts as well, because they may not want to play well with the other group. And I'm not certain that Toei may have anything to do currently with Netflix. And if that there may be some sort of business or political element to that. Not that Power Rangers is political, because it's not, but just on the business end, I think that that's something that may be an interference. If this is true, what do you guys think? I want to hear your thoughts. Do you think that Power Rangers and or Hasbro and Toei are having a falling out? Do you think that this is reliable information? Do you get excited about the ideas of what could happen on Netflix as far as changing the volume of episodes, reallocating higher budgets to CGI, Zord battles, costumes, that sort of stuff? Even casting. I mean, you never know what they could do. I like how they always use unknown, lower known names, lesser known names. I like that, and I hope that they continue that. But what do you guys think? I would be thrilled for any kind of Power Rangers content coming up in any capacity, animated, live action. I just want Power Rangers to continue on, and that's one of the reasons why I'm also super, super flipping excited for Power Rangers Legend of the White Dragon. So let me know what you guys think. Let me get to, before we go, guys, I hope that you guys can take a quick second and check out my TeePublic account. My TeePublic account is where I sell my merch. So if you guys could do me a favor, go ahead and click over to my TeePublic account and get shopping right now. You don't have to buy anything if you don't have the money. I understand some people have, it's a little tight right now. Some people haven't been allowed to work in certain areas. I totally get that. I live in California, in a very, locked down area of California. But if you guys want, you guys can go over here and click, either go to the main page where you'll find this SPD action, or you can go to the Power Rangers tab, and that's where you can find a lot of my other Power Rangers designs, where I've done Power Rangers designs for t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, sweatshirts, all kinds of content. And just like we had, like Jason Fount on here, you can click on the Time Force Red Ranger, get yourself a t-shirt if you like, for male, female, tank tops, mugs, all stickers, all kinds of stuff. You can even get masks now, so you can enter Target if you live in blue states. So that's something that's interesting. And then pins and all that stuff. So you guys go ahead and check those out if you like, and that will help me out a great deal. I would really appreciate it if you guys could afford to get yourself something nice. I don't want to ask for money if you guys aren't going to also get something in return. So, I'm not gonna ask you guys to just donate money, but if you want to get something nice for yourself, I make content, I make all this stuff. So if you guys want to, just go and check it out and maybe get yourself a nice t-shirt. So anyways, thank you guys. And if you guys don't have a couple of bucks, please make sure to at least do the free things. And these are the things that are going to help my channel grow and get to 1,000 subscribers, so I can start making money off of the AdSense on YouTube, because I don't make anything off of YouTube right now, just from my TeePublic. So if you guys can, remember the 5 things: that are going to help me out and get to 1,000 subscribers is like this video, share it with a friend, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, of course, and then turn on notifications so that you can be alerted right away when I go live next time. That way you guys can be a part of the Stuff of Legend in the chat. And without further ado, let's go ahead and get to the chat. All right, guys, let me read these off. Daniel's Hot Topics, what's up, my man? It's good to see you. Here again in the comments, my faithful friend, Daniel's Hot Topic says, Katherine Sutherland is my favorite Pink Ranger. Dude, she's awesome. Katherine Sutherland is the bomb. I really liked her. She was the first Ranger with an accent, if I'm not mistaken. I mean, as far as like a non-American accent. But she was great. In the, what was it? Towards the end of the second season of, no, it was in the second season of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers after Kimberly left the show. And, yeah, she joined in there. She was in through the whole thing for Zeo, and then into Turbo. I think they had the movie, and then she was also the first Pink Ranger for Turbo, the series, before they changed as well. I really love Kimberly Hart. I think Kimberly Hart might still be my favorite, but it's close. I really loved Katherine Sutherland's Pink Ranger, and I also really like the Pink Ranger from Power Rangers SPD is really cool too. So anyways, what was the next question here is Daniel's Hot Topic says, just seen a new episode of Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. and 5 more episodes to go. I hope they find a new way to get the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. to the main timeline and time travel. There is always hope. Yes, time travel's hope for any storyline. If you can go back in time or sideways, like into different universes or splinter timelines, anything is possible. I mean, this is kind of the whole thing. I was going to talk about it tonight, but I just don't have enough time. The Michael Keaton coming into the Ezra Miller Flash film supposedly was planned beforehand, and they're basically rumoring right now that it's like new and it's in talks, but it might be in talks as far as like what he's going to get paid for the new film. They might have already basically said like, you can count on me, I'm going to be there type of thing, because Michael Keaton's a hot commodity right now. He's going to be in Morbius. He's already in the Spider-Man trilogy right now, which is going to be completing in the next couple of years. So I really think that this is something. Oh, wait, hold on, my camera keeps. Okay. Yeah, my camera's got like autofocus on. I should have turned that off. But the Michael Keaton's hot commodity right now, and I think that there was a rumor that the deleted scenes for the Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover event on CW had Michael Keaton in it instead of what's it called? Kevin something? I'm blanking on his name. The voice actor that played Batman in the animated series, and like most of his vocal roles are Batman. I can't believe I just forgot his name. I thought it was Kevin something. Kevin Conroy. There we go. Okay, I knew it'd come back to me. But it was supposed to be Keaton playing the older Batman in the biosuit, as opposed to Kevin Conroy, or the mech suit rather, to keep him like mobile because he was paralyzed from the waist down or something like that. All right, and then let me continue on. I do think that Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. will probably find a way to somehow allude to the fact that they're still in the MCU, but they will not be able to confirm that unless Kevin Feige says so. And so unless Kevin Feige wants them to come back into the MCU, I don't know if they will. That's the crappy part, is that it really shouldn't be any problem for Kevin Feige to acknowledge them back into the existence of the MCU. If it's in an alternate timeline, or if it's back in the past, or if it's going to be in a different universe or some parallel universe. If the whole thing was inside the LMD or something, like, it shouldn't be a problem. They wrote the whole series in a way that it should not be a problem or overlap with any characters from the MCU at all. They worked around everything. I think the problem, though, is that Kevin Feige may have plans to use characters like, for instance, Absorbing Man, who was in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., or if there's certain like Inhumans. Sorry guys, it's getting late for me, but if he's planning to use certain characters from Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., like Mockingbird, for instance, played by Adrienne Palicki, they couldn't do that unless they wanted to recast, and they're not going to recast, or they wouldn't want to recast if it was the same universe. So like, I don't know that will be the case. That's probably why Kevin Feige hasn't jumped on just saying they're acknowledging they're in the same universe. It's like, they used to be in the same universe because he used to have to play ball with the guys over at Marvel TV, Jeff Loeb and all them. Now he doesn't. Now he has Marvel Studios Television or whatever it is. And so now he has his own TV studio, and everything's going to be under his control, and he doesn't want to have to play ball with other people's handiwork. So that's more or less it. I understand it. It just kind of sucks because the show is awesome. So, and that's kind of how I feel about Daredevil and the Netflix shows too. It's like they were pretty good. I mean, like Iron Fist season 1 was not that great. Iron Fist season 2 was awesome. Defenders was fun. It was a great experience, but as its own show, had a few issues that I was like, okay, maybe they could have done this or that better. But it worked itself really nicely into Daredevil season 3, and Punisher was fantastic both seasons. All 3 seasons of Daredevil were perfection. Luke Cage, I thought the second season was better than the first season. I kind of felt the same way about Luke Cage that I did about Iron Fist. Like it started pretty good. The second half of the first season I felt like was not where I wanted it to be, and then the second season was like, okay, this is in a good direction. This is better. And so that's kind of more or less what I thought. I didn't watch Jessica Jones. As soon as it started to get more risque, and I know that Luke Cage got risque as well, I kind of tuned out. I don't really like a lot of adult content in my entertainment. That's not what I'm about. So even if I know that it is more adult, like for instance, Daredevil was brutal, but I love brutal. I can take brutal. If there's curse words, I don't curse, but I don't mind it in content when I'm watching shows in proper context. And it's the adult, mature, like sensual type of content I'm not trying to see. So I'm not trying to see that. And so when that comes on the screen, I'm just like, I don't want to go there. So that's kind of where I tune out. I'm a Power Rangers guy, man. I like it clean and wholesome. That's how I like it. So that's kind of like my thing. So anyways, let's see this. However, there has been a debate on how time travel works. This is again Daniel's Hot Topics. He says, however, there has been a debate on how time travel works in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Avengers Endgame. They use the multiverse branching timeline theory where you just create branching timeline realities. However, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. seems to be going for the singular timeline theory where you can just change one timeline over and over. Only 5 more episodes to go to find out what's what. And then, that's pretty much what like everybody's thinking is like, with time travel, they try to make these rules and constraints for time travel. It kind of works the same way effectively they use it the same. I'll put it that way. It's used the same. You go back, you fix the problem, you come back to the present. In some cases, you still have to deal with ramifications of that change. In other cases, it's completely fine. So there's like subtle differences, but the same, like the story element is the same. You go back, you fix the problem, you come to the present, and or you try to fix it. In Endgame, they didn't succeed really. I mean, they sort of succeeded, but they've also partially failed, and then that resulted in a bigger battle in the present, which they were able to win, but at other costs. So yeah, anyways, how they do that in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. we'll still find out. I'm kind of waiting. I like to binge stuff. So I know I've talked about like I want to watch the episodes, but my wife started watching them without me. And so she got to a certain point and was like, I don't want to rewatch these episodes. And I was like, well, I wanted to watch them with you. So I'm thinking I might let her just finish it, and then we can probably go back and watch it together, because she just finished her other show that she was like running through, and that's totally done now. So she's looking for something to watch. So I might be able to convince her of that. We'll see. And then let's see. Daniel's Hot Topic says, Daniel, remember back in the 90s when there was so much controversy around Power Rangers? Yes, I do. It was all over the news at the time, and my parents did not like me watching Power Rangers. Even my principal, Mr. Thompson, hated Power Rangers and told my mom to not let me watch it. Also, I remember on the new kids, a kid got kicked in the head and he died, and they blamed Power Rangers. Yikes. And then it says here, the kid who got kicked in the head and it killed him watched Power Rangers in the news, and the parents blame Power Rangers. I think that's dumb. Here's the thing: is a lot of, and I'm not saying what you're saying is dumb. I'm saying what that is presuming is dumb. And I remember there was a lot of controversy around this as well when I was younger. My parents didn't want me watching Power Rangers when I was younger, but I would watch it at my cousin's house because they would watch Power Rangers. And then I would watch it at my friends' houses because they watched Power Rangers. My parents were a lot more strict about what we would watch in the home. And I'm actually grateful for that. But I love Power Rangers. And so with Power Rangers, what parents don't know is that if they were to have watched the Power Rangers, they would have seen that there's moral lessons, there's ethics taught to the kids, that it's actually about de-escalation. It's not about like fighting each other. In fact, the kids were never really fighting each other. It was only like if a bad guy had tricked someone into doing something, and then, like, for instance, the Tommy Oliver storyline where Tommy was brainwashed by Rita and he was, being controlled by the green power that was evil. He was attacking the other Rangers. But other than that story arc, the Rangers weren't really fighting each other. In fact, they almost never fought each other. The whole point was that they would train together. They learned to work together. They learned to respect one another and other people. And the code of the Rangers was never escalate the battle, never escalate the fight. The enemy had to escalate it. That's why there was always a fight scene with them without their powers. Because even though they had tremendous power that other people didn't, it was their responsibility to try to de-escalate the situation, to try to handle it without taking it to the next level. And these are lessons that I learned and loved, and that so many others learned and loved. But what happens is one thing goes wrong, and people try to point the finger at something instead of the problem with the person. And this is something that you see all the time in politics. I'm not going to get into too much about politics, but I'll mention one thing. You see this a lot of the time, and it's not, I'm not trying to make a statement, right? It's just this is what happens. When someone dies because someone killed another person with a gun, no one ever talks about it as a murder. They talk about it as gun violence. This is the problem. This is what happened with the guy that they were like, this kid liked Power Rangers. It's Power Rangers' fault. No, it's the murderer's fault. And that's the problem, is people don't want to acknowledge the sin or the evil that's in our heart, and that's an issue that a lot of people want to ignore because they don't want to acknowledge the other principles that come with acknowledging sin in the heart. They don't want to talk about that. It's a deep issue, right? So it's not exactly comic books and fun and wonder. so when you have to face those things, it's not a fun thing. But people, as a way of escape in their minds, they have to blame something instead of someone. Instead of a person, they blame an invisible entity, something that is larger. It's like when people say that, like corporations are evil, for instance. All of them? Nonprofits are corporations. There's plenty of corporations that are charities as well. There's plenty of, are all of them inherently evil? It's like, maybe, but can you prove that? Or is it just a thought you like to say because it keeps you from thinking about something else? without looking at the actual information, the data, evidence, right? When it comes to Power Rangers, it wasn't the kid's fault for liking Power Rangers. If he got kicked in the head and someone knocked him out and killed him, that is a hard, first of all, that's a hard kick. Second of all, you know, who is he fighting? Because I didn't know this story, but like, I like to break things down. It's like, let's look at all the evidence. Who are the people involved? When did this happen? How did it happen? Is there any video evidence to verify the claims? Who is making the claims? Are those people biased towards the person, towards one of the two people in the instance? Was it the kid's mom that said something happened? You know, the kid that passed. Obviously, she's probably going to be arguing on behalf of her child. You know, like, is there a third party person that may not be as emotionally invested to one side of this incident or argument? And so that's the kind of thing you have to look at, but people don't want to do that. They just want to say Power Rangers bad because fighting. And no, it's not Power Rangers bad because fighting. It's Power Rangers good because it teaches discipline. It teaches hard work. It teaches self-control. Like, when you have power, you have to exercise self-control. I love the Power Rangers for this reason. And so that's one of the reasons why I will probably always be watching Power Rangers, and I will always rewatch Power Rangers with my kids. It's a great series. It's a great franchise. The fandom is the least toxic of any franchise probably ever. It's amazing. All right, so then let me go on. That sucks about the story that you shared, though. I hadn't heard about that one, but I did know about a lot of parents not wanting to watch Power Rangers, and I'd be willing to bet you, my friend, that it was, and this is kind of like, are we going to get like conspiratorial on this? I'd be willing to bet that a lot of the same people that were pushing to remove like the Pledge of Allegiance and a lot of the same people that were pushing to remove prayer from schools, not mandatory prayers, but like not letting people pray in schools, not acknowledging any of those things. I bet they were the same people that wanted to get Power Rangers out, because Power Rangers was the least, and I know people are like, they made the Black Ranger black and the Yellow Ranger yellow and the, you know, sort of half Native American looking guy, red. No, Power Rangers is the least racist show of all time. It is the most inclusive. It has been since its foundation. It is by far one of the most ethical kids shows of all time. It teaches morality. It teaches teamwork. It teaches getting along with other people, even if you have disagreements. It teaches you how to work things out. If you have a problem with somebody, it teaches you restraint. It also teaches you strength, which is something that we don't get taught nowadays. It is the most wholesome show on the planet, and I reject anybody who says any different. That's pretty much, it's the truth. If anyone will take the time to watch it and analyze it without, you can absolutely criticize it, but analyze it for what it is and what it says, not for what other people are saying about it. And then you'll find that what I'm saying is correct. Believe me, I've got I've given this a lot of thought. And this is, and anyway, that's too much. We're going too long on that. I'm going to just read the comments and then we'll continue on. So the kid that got kicked in the, we already read that part. Did you hear that maybe they might get George Clooney and Val Kilmer in the Flashpoint movie alongside Michael Keaton? So Val Kilmer and George Clooney, maybe a Flashpoint movie. And then, and then you picked up where I couldn't remember. You said Kevin Conroy. Yes. I hadn't heard about that, but it doesn't surprise me, and I would love it. I would personally love it. Get every single Power Rangers, or I'm sorry, every single Batman actor you can. Make it happen. If we're going multiverse, if we're going Flashpoint, do it. Make it happen. That's going to be really cool, and it will probably make it into the trailer as a big draw for the film, especially being that it's a DCU film and it's going to need the good PR. So thank you for reminding me about Kevin Conroy. And then Daniel's Hot Topic says, so if Val Kilmer and George Clooney will be in the movie together, they must be Batman in different universes. For example, Batman Forever came out in 95 and Batman and Robin in 97. So Val Kilmer, Batman, could be on Earth 95 and George Clooney could be on Earth 97. Flash could travel between these different Earths and meet them, and maybe Chris O'Donnell could be as Robin on both universes. That would make my day, dude. I would absolutely love to see Chris O'Donnell again. as Robin or as Nightwing. You know, like if they were to, because again, going to the other universes doesn't necessarily mean you're at the same point in time in those universes. So like if the actors have aged since then, let their stories have aged. Like in the Crisis on Infinite Earths timeline, they showed a newspaper of what was it? It was Michael Keaton and Michelle, or it was Michael Keaton as Bruce Wayne, and then it said billionaire Bruce Wayne marries Selena Kyle, and it was basically just saying that Michelle Pfeiffer and Michael Keaton had gotten married, and that's a really cool Easter egg. But it would be awesome to get to see them as a couple, older, perhaps even mentoring younger heroes in Gotham in this multiverse. That'd be really, really cool to see. So I would love to see it. Let me know if you would like to see. I personally think that's great. I would love to. Yes, please bring it on. I'm all about Batman fandom. In fact, if this does happen, then Ezra Miller's The Flash movie could be one of my favorite Batman films, other than the Lego Batman, which is my current favorite Batman film of all time, because the Lego Batman film understands Batman fandom. It understands every single version of Batman that's ever existed, and it loves them and it cherishes them in the ways that we all do. It's like, it's really beautiful the way that that movie can make you laugh from start to finish, but also really really feed your Batman fandom hunger. It's a really epic movie. If you haven't seen the Lego Batman, you're missing out. It's the best. It really is the best Batman movie. It's an animated movie, Lego Batman. You'd never think, but it's fan-flipping-tastic. Check it out. Directed by Chris McKay, I believe. And then it says here, Daniel's Hot Topic says, it's sad that the events of Batman Forever will not be canon to the Tim Burton universe on Earth 89 and Flashpoint, only on Batman 89 and Batman Returns is canon to Earth 89. It's sad because Batman Forever was the first great, was great, and it made more money than the first two movies put together. Yes, wait, so it's sad that the events of let me read this again. Events of Batman Forever will not be canon to the Tim Burton universe on 89 in Flashpoint. Only Batman 89. Is this part of an article? I don't remember that being the case. Is that part of the rumor? Because you must be saying because of the CW crossover, Crisis on Infinite Earths, how they destroyed Earth 89. I think that I covered this in my review of Crisis on Infinite Earth, just talking about where all the cliffhangers they left off. They basically said at the beginning and the end of Crisis that every universe is multiplied by infinite possibilities. So infinite universes multiplied by infinite possible variants of those universes, which means that Batman 89, as we saw it, was destroyed, but the same universe with infinite variants, which means it could be infinitely like close to similar. I mean, like it could be 99.99999999999% similar, and there's just like a different kind of caterpillar in that world. You know what I'm saying? Like it could be the same, basically the same thing, and you can continue the story on if you like. It doesn't have to be the end of that story. And so that's kind of where they concluded at the end of Crisis on Infinite Earths, was just again reiterating what they said at the very beginning before things were destroyed, that every single universe we saw, including Batman 89, or the universe of 89, was multiplied by infinite possibilities, which means we basically have the same universe out there somewhere, you know, like infinite times. And so according to Ezra Miller's Flash, that doesn't necessarily have to be destroyed, or at least a version of it. So 89 might not be there, but they could call it something else, something incredibly similar. So 89.2. So that could be a good thing. And then Daniel's Hot Topic says, how would Michael Keaton travel the universe? The multiverse, Earth 89, does not have that tech, not that I've seen. I'm not certain that Michael Keaton's Batman would be the one doing the universal traveling. Keep in mind, was it the Justice League movie? Yeah, it was the Justice League movie where Batman, or rather Bruce Wayne, is sitting at his desk, contemplating all the problems he's facing and like how to solve them, obviously. And then Ezra Miller pops in like a vision, and he's like, it's, you know, it's Lois, or she's the key, you know, or whatever. And he was trying to tell him the secret, or like and he was traveling through time and the multiverse. They were alluding to the story they wanted to go to with both Justice League and with Ezra Miller's Flash. Now, they're going to continue doing like sort of like a paradoxical, like, let's go through time, different multiversal universes and stuff like that. They already verified that with the CW crossover. They verified that Ezra Miller's Flash is going to be jumping back and forth between different universes and timelines. So if Ezra Miller is the one already time traveling, we don't need to expect that Michael Keaton's is going to be the one jumping around. It'll probably just be Ezra Miller jumping from universe to universe, trying to catch someone, trying to stop something, trying to find something, get an answer, or recruit heroes or something like that. For some reason, he's going to be moving around. So I don't think it's going to be necessarily Keaton being the one jumping between universes. It'll be the Flash. So let me take this last one. All right, seriously, this has got to be the last one because I got to go to bed. It says, Daniel's Hot Topic says, I remember back in 1992, I was at Kmart and I wanted to see Batman Returns. And I was 4 at the time, so I got a copy of Batman Returns off the shelf, peeled off the plastic, and popped it into the VCR. So Batman Returns was the first movie I ever saw, and I think that's why I love those movies so much. It is my favorite universe. Also, I think Batman 89 came back because Oliver reset everything. I agree. And to me, that was what made sense, was that when he reset everything, it repeated the mantra it said before things were destroyed in the first episode. All universes are multiplied by infinity, basically. And so it's still out there. Everything is still out there. Adam West's universe is still out there. 89 is still out there. All the Smallville, all of that. It's all still out there. So even though they destroyed it all, they reset it, and then they said again, things are still out there. So that's more or less what it is. And yeah, dude, I love the Batman. I absolutely love the OG Batman movies. There's even Batman movies before that, but they were called serials back then. It was a little bit different, but they would come out in theater like episodes of a TV show. And you'd go to the theater, you'd pay to watch this movie or this short episode movie, and you'd watch that, and then later, when they make the next one, you go out and you watch the next one and then the next one, and they put them out as a serial of stories. And that was a different Batman. They did that with 2 different Batman actors, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. I think I actually have T-shirts for that too, by the way. Let me see if I can just pull this up. I'll see if I can find it in a timely manner because I don't want to waste everybody's time because I'm getting ready to end this right here. But let's go ahead and see if we can load this while we're live streaming. Usually I try to load this stuff beforehand. You can see I do all these designs for different actresses and actors who have played different roles. So if you like a favorite Supergirl actress, like if you like Carrie Walgren as my Supergirl, you can get that T-shirt, or Adrienne Mishler, on a cup. Halle Berry is my Catwoman. John Wesley Shipp is my Reverse Flash because he played kind of a version of the Reverse Flash there. Let me see if I can find it. Anne Hathaway is my Catwoman. So I wanted to find it because I did a bunch of these. Bob Holliday did Superman, by the way, before Christopher Reeve. So I don't know if you guys knew about Bob Holliday. Here's one of them. Lewis Wilson is my Batman. Kevin Porter is the one from Batinthesun. And then Robert Lowry is the other one from the serials. So I believe it's Lewis Wilson and Robert Lowry. These are the 2 guys that did the serials. And so you can get their T-shirts as well if you like them as Batman. Andy Samberg from that sketch he did of Batman on Saturday Night Live. You'd find that one, or the Pete Holmes is my Batman from the College Humor. A lot of great Batmans. Actors here. I bet you didn't know Channing Tatum played Superman. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. Get your t-shirts and all that stuff. That helps me out a great ton. Appreciate you guys. And anyways, guys, I have to get going. It's bedtime. So without further ado, remember, before you go, subscribe to the channel. Help me get to 1,000 subscribers so I can feed my family on YouTube. That'd be great. And then I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for sending in not the super chats. I don't get those. You can't get super chats until you hit 1,000 subscribers. So Daniel's Hot Topics, thank you so much for dropping in all these comments. Everybody, thanks for watching. You guys tell me what you think about the Power Rangers news, about the Legend of the White Dragon news, and are you excited to see that because that just got funded? Let's talk about all these things in the comments section after the upload. You guys rock, and I'll see you next time right here on The Stuff of Legend. Hey guys, D-Lo here. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And remember to share this video with all of your nerd friends. I know you got them, and you know who they are. Leave a comment below and let me know what you thought about this discussion. Let me know what you would like to see me do a video on next. Subscribe to the channel because you're a legend, and we have that in common. Also be sure to turn on notifications to be notified right away when I upload my next video, or so that you can be alerted when I go live next time. That way you'll never miss a thing. Check out the other videos on the channel so that we can have a discussion on all your favorite movies and TV topics. Thanks again for watching. Stay tuned for more right here on The Stuff of Legend.